I don't know that we have ever faced a more distressing, country-dividing, business-destroying piece of legislation than what we are not debating today. Because what has happened is these pages, 15 pages of amendments that we have had no opportunity to examine, the hours, the days of committee hearings that will not have the report tabled. This is absolutely shocking from Labor, and I'm going to go through exactly why. Before I do, though, I want to acknowledge the Jackie Lambie Network, Senator Pocock, Senator David Pocock, for their attempt to mitigate the worst of this legislation by splitting out the non-controversial protections of workers that should rightly be in place. We've talked about the PTSD compensation. We've talked about domestic violence, silica, some of those other elements. But for the 42% of jobs in this country generated by small business, not by the big business that the unions are attacking, that Labor is fixated and obsessed on, but the third of the country who is employed by people who take a mortgage, who work themselves to the bone, who in bad times pay their staff before they pay themselves. I'd like to see hands up for the people in this place or the other who've done that, because I've done that. I've put my name on the director's form. I have taken personal responsibility for my workers, for their mortgage payments, for their ability to put food on the table. And at a time when business has never done it more tough, thanks to this government. Skyrocketing electricity prices, skyrocketing insurance prices, skyrocketing costs of doing business. If it's not transport, it's fuel. Everything is driving small business into the ground. And what has this government done? It's brought in legislation that makes it harder for them to operate. So for businesses who wonder what this is about going to jail if you are late with wages. And let me explain to you what that's like. Let me explain to you what it's like going to a pandemic. Let me explain what it's like when you go into a lull in trade, which is what small business is seeing right now. Retail businesses smashed. Discretionary spend businesses smashed. And what is this government's answer? Well, they're going to send you to jail if you cannot get wages paid on time, if you are busting your guts and paying other people ahead of yourself and not paying your own mortgage and jeopardising your family's future. What will this government do? They will send you to jail. They won't send rapists, people who are pedophiles and thieves to jail, but they will send you to jail. It means right of entry. It means unions turning this into a business plan to grow their membership numbers, because Australians are choosing not to be a member of a union. Australians are choosing to have a relationship with their employer. They're choosing to work in a business where they are part of it. They offer their services, they are paid fairly for it. We have a very rigorous fair work regime, awards, protections for long service, for annual leave, for sick pay. Senator Roberts is right. We have a Fair Work Award that works. But this is a business plan for the unions. Be clear, because Labor doesn't care about you. They don't care about your wages. They care about the unions putting their hands in your pockets. More union fees, more super donations. That's what they care about, because they are barking for their union masters. They are desperate and weak, this government. And this desperation is shown by on this last sitting day of the year, jamming in legislation that nobody has had the opportunity to see the amendments. The committee hasn't reported on, because we know that Labor is not for business, which means it's not for you. If you've got a job in a business, Labor is coming after your job with this legislation. But what do we expect? Well, we can't expect much for a cabinet that has 23 members who've had on average 35 years' work experience each, 750 years of work experience, but only 4 of those years in business. What would they know about how hard it is to generate a job? The next time I hear them talking about the reduced discrepancy between female pay, well, it's not them doing it, it's business. It's the mining companies who are employing more women and paying more. It is business, small business doing that. It is not government that creates jobs. It is people who take risk and who put their homes and their lives on the line. Because I have done this. I know the stress of running a business, of trying to support workers, of trying to support my suppliers and my customers, and knowing what it's like to juggle these things, to look into the faces of my employees and say, I will get you through this and I will take the pain and I won't tell you about it. But it's not me, it is thousands of small business owners right across Australia who are doing that. But Labor doesn't care about that. They don't care about what it's like to run a business, particularly right now when it has never been harder. Because workers are important, and businesses know that. And if businesses are forced to close their door, or if business owners say they cannot go on because of this legislation, they've had enough with the layers of government regulation and stresses, where will those workers go to get a job? Now, apparently, Labor, I assume, thinks that because there's a workforce shortage, low unemployment will go on forever. But it doesn't. It is hard fought for. It is hard fought for to create jobs. So Labor claims to be the party for the working people, but they're not. They're the party for the unions, and they don't give a damn about you. They won't give business the flexibility to ensure they can continue to operate, because right now it has never been harder to employ someone. Labor makes no secret of their disdain for the mining sector. We've got the Energy Minister running around the world that will stop investing in fossil fuels. Maybe he forgot to mention that to all the well-paid workers in the mining industry. What job are they going to, that they'll receive the 50% higher salary than they do in the mining industry? It certainly won't be polishing solar panels. What is the alternates? And I feel bad for the member for Hunter, or Senator Chisholm, Senator Ayres, because they understand the value of the mining sector for mining communities. I wonder what they're telling those workers. But it is obvious that the left, the unions, are running the show. They don't understand that mining is a cyclical business. It's a commodity business, like agriculture. Boom and bust cycles. Companies have to invest billions of dollars to get up and going. They're at the whim of global markets, and the cyclical nature means that they use labour hire companies for surge capacity. But apparently running a business, that's of no interest to Labor, understanding how you compete on the world stage. And so what Labor's just done is ensured that Australian workers on well-paid jobs, 50% higher than the average Australian salary, they will be the first to go, because it is so hard to get investment in this country. It is down. It is going down like a sinking stone because of Labor policy over the last 18 months. And this industrial relations policy and legislation is one more nail in that coffin. We will look back on the golden years of high employment and the quality of life that we have, these years as being the golden years, because Labor is ensuring that they will not last. Our children will not enjoy the same quality of life that we have enjoyed. So when your employer says, I can't go on, I'm closing my doors, I've got to reduce your hours or put you off, thank Labor. Make sure you thank Labor, because they are responsible for your job going. Because Labor doesn't care about business. They don't care about all the people who work in those businesses, and they certainly don't care about you. Thank you.